So if you're thinking of moving to Florida, you're probably thinking, what's the real story about real estate and the market and what's going on in Florida in 2021? The news is it's hot. The real estate market's hot here like it is all over the country. We've got higher prices, lower inventory, and a lot of frustration. So if you're one of those people considering getting here, we're going to be breaking it all down next. Hey everybody, my name's Craig Cunha. I'm a real estate agent here in Southwest Florida. And if you're looking for a channel that'll tell you a little bit about what it's like to live, play, eat, sleep, and buy real estate on the Gulf Coast, then this is the channel for you. So go ahead and subscribe and leave a comment down below and make sure you ring that bell so you get notified when all the future videos come out. I'm getting calls from people every single day, and it could be email and maybe text, but it's constant. Everybody has questions about coming here, and I'm happy to help. I actually just love being able to give this information to y'all. So if you've got a question, you've got to call, text, or email because I've got your back when moving to the Gulf Coast. One of the most common questions that I'm getting right now, not only what's the market like in Florida, and here in Southwest Florida in particular, I'm going to run through what is happening both with rentals and sales and builders. So first thing you need to know is renting used to be a pretty good option if you're moving to an area and you don't know what's going on. You don't know what it's like there. You're not sure what your commute to work's going to be like. So you'd like to rent first and try to figure it out. That's getting harder to do. The rent prices are increasing, probably more so in some cases than the actual sale of homes. So think carefully about how you want to approach this and even talk to a lender and find out what your best scenario is. You may find that buying that home now and building some equity is going to cost you less in the long haul than if you rent to try and figure things out. Buying a single family home just in this past 12 months, there's been an increase as a median of $300 12 months ago to $450 now. Yes, single family homes have gone up quite a bit. And again, this is a median, so we're not talking the lowest or the highest, we're cutting it right in the middle. And that tells you where prices are as a whole. Obviously, there's exceptions to the rule. Always keep in mind, you get what you pay for. So if you're looking to just cut corners and get the lowest price, go ahead and drive those neighborhoods first. You know, I recommend it all the time. Drive. Figure out what's around you. See what the neighborhood's like. See what the neighbors are like. See what the area's giving you for what you're paying. Even with this increase in the prices just in this last 12 months, you may find with the interest rates as low as they are, they're still staying down around that 3% mark. You may still find a mortgage payment that is far less than what you pay in rent. So if that's the case, go ahead and secure it. Get yourself into something, start investing your money into something, and if you need to relocate later, good chance that you're going to be making money on that investment. Now, those numbers were for single family homes. If you're looking at condos, or any kind of multifamily situation where there's more than one unit in the building, those prices have gone from $230,000 to $290,000. Yeah, it used to be an affordable way to get a home in the area to get started, but condos, they're starting to rival some of the single family homes. So again, do your due diligence. Make sure that you're okay with sharing walls with people. If you've never lived in a condo or an apartment or any kind of setup like that, that's probably one of the biggest complaints. You're sharing walls and floors and ceilings, so you will be hearing people around you. We do use a lot of concrete in the construction here. Not all of it is, though. That concrete does help insulate some of the sound, but you could still hear your neighbor with the loud bass, the foot stomps, the heels on the floor above you. So there are things to consider. If you don't want any of those things, then yes, you're going to have to go with a single family home or a one-level multi-unit kind of situation. With the sales being where they are price-wise, again, people are thinking maybe I can rent. Well, I mentioned how the rents are starting to rival those purchase prices as far as the monthly payment. Here in Southwest Florida, as a median, this is everywhere, the rentals for a single family home in the last 12 months went from $1,700 to $2,100. Yes, that's a monthly rate. That's not the seasonal rate either. I took the seasonals out of this because most people looking for rentals right now, they're looking for value and they're looking for longer term to figure things out. So that is an annual rate for a single family home. It's not taking into consideration whether it has a pool or not. It's not considering anything beyond just the fact that it's a single family home in Southwest Florida. Now with the multifamily kind of a building, again, apartments, condos, duplexes, triplexes, any of that kind of stuff, those had a smaller increase. It went from 1,300 to 1,400 over the last 12 months. So it doesn't sound like that big of a deal. But again, you're sharing walls. It's a smaller space. Square footages can be really small, like 800 square feet. A 2-bedroom, 2-bath in this area, even in these new apartment complexes, they are starting at $1,400 a month. Now, they normally give you a fitness center and a pool, and it's pretty nice digs overall in good locations. However, affordability is still a challenge. $1,400, it sounds like it's quite a bit. You might occasionally get away finding something under $1,000 because these are median prices. But remember, you get what you pay for. You have to check the neighborhood. You have to find out how people like living there. Stop and talk to the neighbors. They would love to share information. People love talking about themselves. So get the information you can to help you make the best decision. Now, when you're looking at these rentals and you're looking at the multifamily situations, many of them are held by corporations. And in fact, a lot of the single family is starting to be held by corporations. And why you want to know that is corporations have strict rules about how they accept people, what the payments are going to be, and making changes with them and getting out of deals or out of your leases, it's not easy. They're going to want something from you. Sometimes it's better to go to private owners for that stuff because the fact that they're a little more willing to negotiate, especially if you say, hey, how about I mow the lawn? Would you cut my rent? How about if I do some repairs or do some painting or do some updating? You think you'd cut my rent then? They're going to work with you. Corporations, not so much. So what's crazy about this market right now also is that rental availability far exceeds homes for sale. And I never thought we'd see that, but absolute craziness. In fact, the seasonal rentals are the worst. There are so many of them. Everybody's coming here wanting to start an investment, and they're doing these short-term rentals, these seasonal rentals. Currently on the market for multifamily style homes, there's 2,168 of these available seasonal rentals. Single family seasonal, 783. So we have a combined 2,951 units that are available for seasonal rentals. Problem with seasonal rentals? The rates are so much higher. So if you think you're going to get into a short-term rental and you might only be there for 2 or 3 months, plan for double that just in case, especially if you're building, because the delays in building could keep you there longer. And with that higher price you're paying, you may run out of money. Now, by the same token, if you're looking for an annual rental, there's only 352 multifamily units available for a year lease. And again, this is all of Southwest Florida, 352. That is such a small number. So if you're trying to commit for a longer time to get the lower rate, there aren't a lot of choices. And with annual rentals for a single family home, there are only 95. And that, again, the spectrum of the rental amounts can be all over the map. You heard the median price, they can go far higher. So it could get really unaffordable to rent very quickly. Now, I said that the rentals had far more available. There was 2,951 that were available for rent, right? As a total collection. There are only 2,848 for sale on the entire market. That's multifamily and single family. The single family homes, 1,857 of those are on the market. And the multifamily, again, the condos, 991. That's covering everything from North Fort Myers down through Cape Coral, Fort Myers, Lehigh Acres, Bonita, Estero, Naples, Marco. That's everywhere. So the options are slim. If you have the opportunity to secure something, don't dawdle on it. Don't wait around to see what happens. Yeah, go ahead and sleep on it to make yourself feel good about it. But I'm still going to recommend getting here to look at it as well. Sometimes this sight unseen thing is becoming really difficult. We're taking homes off the market so that people can fly into town and check it out. They don't like the neighborhood. They don't like the house. They don't want the repairs, whatever it happens to be. The sight unseen thing is definitely throwing a wrench into our market and making it difficult for a true serious buyer that's in town, that is actually putting their boots to the ground and going to do the homework. They're having a tougher time finding something because it's pulled off the market right before they're going to see it. This happened to us the other day. I'm going to show a total of 6 homes. Now, we're looking for bigger square footage, around 3,000 square feet. So yes, it's going to cut some of the options. There were only 6 that I could get that fit this person's parameters. And by the time we went to go look, The first one we're going to see dropped off the market literally within an hour of us going to see it. That's the kind of thing that's happening. And if you're not here and investing your time, then you could find yourself in a similar situation. So if this is something you know you're absolutely going to do, get yourself to Florida. We'll go take a look at some stuff, but you have to do that driving part first. Make sure you like the area. Make sure it feels good to you. Do the homework you can do. Find out as much information as possible. And consider your sources. There's a lot of people out there talking about things they don't really know about. In fact, I had a comment yesterday from somebody on the channel that was saying there's 10 months of miserably hot months in Florida. That's just not true. We've had one of the best winters that I can remember being in Florida, and it's been gorgeous from December all the way through May. So make sure you're talking to somebody that's a true source, that knows, that's lived here, that can really relay those stories, and talk to the people here when you visit. That's where you're going to get the best information. Now I'm going to talk about some of the builder challenges. Number one, you used to be able to go on the MLS to find new construction homes available. It's getting less and less because of the fact that builders don't even have anything to sell. Most of them are capping what they're going to sell, maybe 2 to 4 a month. And some of them have gotten to the point with all this uncertainty of supply, they will not even release the home for sale until they get to the truss stage. Now you ask, why is that important? The truss is the most wood that you're going to be putting into the house. So with the lumber prices where they are and no idea how much it's going to cost, they wait until they have the trusses ordered and know what the price is before they can release it with an accurate sales price. So if you're looking for those opportunities and you happen to run into one and you know you want new construction, you better snap that up as fast as you can and go through the steps to get yourself aligned with that builder, because if you do not, if your deposit's not there in time, you don't sign the paperwork in time because you're thinking about it, you may lose the house. I came this close to having a client lose a house 3 days ago because they were thinking about it. Thankfully, while the agent was out showing the home to another buyer, they turned their paperwork in. That secured it for them, overcame the problem, but that's what can happen if you don't act quickly. Now, what you can do to overcome this, there are some builders out there still that are working on a draw and doing construction. They're doing the construction loans. So the difference with this is you will go and pick your lot out. Whatever lot you want, grab that lot. The builder will then take a hold of it. They'll start pulling the permits on it. You're going to need a construction loan in this case. And a construction loan is basically reverse engineering the normal process, where you're going to secure a loan up front and take portions of that money to pay the builder in different stages of the construction. At the end of the build period, they will then do an end loan, which will secure your rate for the future. So the rate you're using during construction is not your final interest rate. Keep that in mind. Those can change by the time you get to the end of construction, especially when construction's taking a year. And that's if you're lucky. It could actually be a year and a half. Permitting still has the delays of 3 to 4 months in some cases, and that's if you don't have any burrowing owls, mangroves, or tortoises on your lot. Another question we get a lot of here in Cape Coral especially is the whole well and septic versus water and sewer situations. And in a conversation the other day, started thinking about this process of, well, I want my water and sewer in, I want the assessments done. Great, I can understand that. The one thing you may not be thinking about is you just paid that price difference of about $20,000 for the assessments, so that you're paying interest on that from go. The people that are building up in the Northwest that are on well and septic first, they may not start paying interest on any assessments for 5 or 10 years for all we know. So there's always going to be an additional expense for the water and sewer regardless. So consider carefully, could I live on well and septic? Because there are lots of technologies nowadays that make it very easy, very functional, and in some cases, especially with water quality, it could be even better with these new RO systems they're putting on the houses. So saving money on your purchase and saving money on interest over the years until the assessments come in, it could work out quite well for you. Now, if you're one of those people that said, you know what, I absolutely want a pool on my home when I get to Florida, I get it. You're thinking, oh my gosh, it's so hot, I have to have a pool. So you're limiting your options right out the gate by saying I want a pool only. Why not consider a house without a pool and add it? It's going to open up your options. It's probably also going to keep you out of more of these bidding wars, because if everybody wants a pool, which homes do you think they're going to be putting offers on? Exactly. Think about getting home and adding a pool, especially if you have a large down payment. You can either hold some of that money aside or pull an equity loan off the house to get that done. And if you need to wait a little bit in order to make that happen, we do still have beaches here. We have air conditioning, so you can keep cool. The pool may not be as necessary right out the gate, but that's something to consider if you don't want to get locked into so many of these bidding wars. Now, for all you boaters out there, I know, I want the boat in my backyard. That would be wonderful. And I understand the feeling, because I just secured my high and dry, my dry storage for my boat. And for me, it's going to make it the most accessible and easiest to use, because I just call ahead, take the boat out, bring it back. They take care of it. It's stored in a safe place, so if the storms come, I don't have to worry about it. And it's secured at night. If you're thinking about the Gulf access, you automatically need to consider about 150 to 300,000 extra on average for the home. That's what Gulf access properties are going for on the low end. Yes, some of them are getting crazy, especially in the Southwest. Some people are asking $1 million. Absolutely crazy. $1 million for a lot that's in a canal system that'll take you 45 minutes to an hour to get out. I don't know what agent would take that, but $1 million, a little bit excessive. Consider that if you're not looking to spend that kind of money. We have boat ramps, and in Cape Coral, you can store the boat on your property. You push it back to the back of the property, nobody's going to say boo to you. You could also get the dry storage, which I just mentioned, where they tuck it away for you. They bring it out on a forklift, stick it in the water. You're off and running, very easy. They flush the engine, they spray it down with fresh water, so you're good to go. Then you can also think about a wet slip if the boat's bigger. Just secure one of those. Prices start about $16 a foot on the boat, plus the 6.5% tax. And that's for the smaller size boats. They will increase $1 or $2 per foot as you keep going up. So check the marinas, compare them to each other, and really check availability, because with all the boats that are now being bought in this area, and there's a shortage of those too, but with all those boat owners, we're finding less and less opportunities for storage. And lastly, we have talked about this lately in some of the videos. I've been talking about it with clients constantly, because if you have kids, you're thinking about schools and you want to know what's up with schools. I see these ratings for the elementary and middle schools that are A's and B's and pretty much consistent throughout the entire area. Yeah, that's true. High school tends to go to C's in many cases. And you're saying, what the heck's with that? What's wrong with the high schools? You know what? It's not the high schools. It's the kids. And I get it, because I've got my 11-year-old and I'm seeing this already, and he's not even getting to high school. The interest in the schoolwork isn't there. They're interested in other things, whether it's football, whether it's baseball, whether it's a girl or a boy, whether it's something else, a video game. It could be anything. Their interests are elsewhere. It's not on school. So it's not the school system that's failing the kids at that age. It's the kids just don't have as much interest to excel in most cases. That's why you're seeing the C's on the average high schools in the area. But don't be concerned. All the schools are pretty well run, and you can always visit them and interview the schools before enrolling the kids there. All right, well, that's a little bit about what's going on in Florida right now. This housing market is crazy. We're looking for improvements. But in the meantime, if you have questions about it, check out one of these other videos. Might give you a little more insight to what's going on. And if you've got a question for me, you've got to call, text, or email, because I've got your back when moving to the Gulf Coast.